Now at 6, results of a vote recount on the abortion rights issue in Crawford County, Kansas. Plus an arrest following an overnight stabbing in Ewart Park in Joplin. And authorities released the name of the victim from a death investigation in Lamar, Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Results are in from the Crawford County recount on the constitutional amendment question on abortion. This is KOAM News at 6. On August 2nd, Kansans voted overwhelmingly to reject a ballot measure that would have removed protections for abortion rights from the Kansas Constitution. The margin was about 18%. An anti-abortion group had sought a recount in 9 of the state's more than 100 counties. More than half of all votes were cast in those 9 counties. Crawford County was among them. The results in Crawford County have now come out to 4,653 votes for yes, 5,847 votes for no. The number of no votes increased by 2 in the county. The number of yes votes did not change.
We had to go back and recheck and make sure every precinct had the correct ballots in that pile. So it was a pretty long and painstaking recount, but we did it, and we are very happy with the results.
In the Kansas counties that have reported so far, recounts do not show any substantial difference from the original counts. Recounts are still underway. In a few counties, those results are due by tomorrow. Now, a man is in custody after a woman was stabbed multiple times in Joplin. It happened shortly after midnight at Joplin's Ewart Park. The victim was conscious when crews rushed her to the hospital. At last report, she was in stable, non-life-threatening condition. Police say they arrested a suspect without incident more than 9 hours later. No word yet on formal charges. Authorities have released the identity of a woman found dead in a Lamar, Missouri home yesterday. She's 35-year-old Beatrice Adriana Moreno Martinez of Thousand Palms, California. An autopsy was to be performed today in Springfield, but authorities have not yet released the cause of death. Law enforcement across the 4 states are on the hunt for this woman, Dawn Nguyen, a McDonald County woman accused of shooting her husband while he was sleeping. Authorities found Harold Nguyen shot to death in the couple's fifth-wheel camper west of Anderson, Missouri in November of last year. Dawn was arrested and charged that day. She's been out on bond awaiting trial, and according to the McDonald County Sheriff's Office, part of her bail conditions required her to stay at her mother's home in Pea Ridge, Arkansas. Well, now Nguyen is missing and her bond is revoked. Investigators say she might be headed to northeast Oklahoma. She also has ties to southwest Missouri, specifically to Joplin. Let's check in with Sam Lane for a first look at the weather.
Thank you very much, Dow. It was a beautiful day across the area. Lots of sunshine, not too hot and also not too humid. We do have some thunderstorms on radar, especially up to the north and west, and even some severe weather just south and west of Salina. That is kind of moving to the south and east, zooming in a little bit closer. You can see right now from Harrington down to McPherson. It's moving towards Cassidy and then may clip into the northern parts of Greenwood County over the next couple of hours, and there is some rain in our forecast. In fact, some severe weather is marginally possible tomorrow for northeast Oklahoma, right across the 4 states, on up into eastern parts of Missouri. Most of the risk is going to be low, but some areas could get some heavy rain, so I've changed that to moderate. And if you're heading down to Pineville for the Jesse James days, here's your forecast. For this evening, temperatures dropping down into the 70s and even some 60s, especially down into the south in Pineville tomorrow morning with partly cloudy skies. Then tomorrow at around lunchtime, 85 for your high. Then in the afternoon, we could see a scattered storm or two with a high of around 89 there in Pineville. Then tomorrow evening, starting to clear out just a little bit, temperatures dropping down into the mid-60s, and by Sunday afternoon, pretty pleasant with northerly winds and a high of around 76 degrees. I'll have more details on our forecast coming right up.
All right, we'll catch you in a few. For the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic started, the McDonald County School District has a curriculum director. KOAM Shagun Bamadela met with her today as she makes sure teaching materials are up to date.
As the new school year approaches, the new curriculum director of McDonald County School is taking steps to make sure that all curriculums across the county is up to date. I spoke to her and she tells me why events like this are important. McDonald County School's new curriculum director is hard at work hosting meetings to make sure teachers are ready for the first day of school.
It's important to us to make sure that our curriculum in one building is the same as another building, and so it's allowing us to use this time to just not necessarily make changes, but to make sure that everybody's familiar, acclimate new teachers, talk about resources that we use, and just put everybody kind of on the same page and ready to go as we open up the school year.
McLean also says this will better equip teachers at each school.
You know, teachers that are prepared and teachers that feel well equipped going into the classroom affects student learning and student outcomes. And so curriculum is important for not just our teachers, it's important for our students and for our district, and I think this will help speed that process along.
One elementary school teacher tells me it is great that the district is making sure they are prepared.
And we know the district has our back, and we know the district has the best interests of the students and their teachers in mind, because they are giving us the curriculum that we have asked for and the time to go through it, and they're constantly, you know, what do you need here, what do you need there, what do you need from us as the district to better your teaching in the classroom.
In McDonald County, Shagun Bamdele, KOAM News.
McDonald County students return to the classroom on Monday. Coming up, Pitt State Band practices one last time for their week-long camp. We're going to hear reaction from that last practice. Plus, folks head to Chautauqua, Kansas to learn how to make a historical Cherokee artifact. The Association of Immunization Managers recognizes a woman in Joplin for efforts to promote immunizations. The group named Michelle Yarnall Missouri's immunization champion. Yarnall is the administrator of Pediatric Associates of Southwest Missouri. Yarnall is recognized for an innovative plan to make sure patients were served during the pandemic. Those patients included children. Today is Pittsburgh State University Marching Band's last day of practice for their week-long Pride of the Plains Marching Band camp. While students were excited for the new semester, this year's camp was bittersweet for many. KOAM's Yana Hautala visited the camp.
Students gathered on the field behind Pittsburgh State University's football stadium for the last marching rehearsal of band camp. The week was a success, according to a fifth-year senior, Erica Baldwin.
Everyone's just excited to be out here, and they're excited for finally a first normal year since COVID has happened.
Earlier this summer, the band lost its director, Doug Whedon, to a heart attack. Now, his students march on with a familiar interim director conducting.
I've always been at rehearsals, and I've been at games, and I've kind of been part of that group.
The marching band members are happy to have an experienced leader who has been observing their practices before stepping in the role.
He knows who we are, he knows what our culture is, and it's nice to have someone who's on campus and cares about us.
Andrew Chaibovsky says Doug made everyone feel like they are part of the family, which is what he wants to continue and has worked on this week.
Some team building stuff. I think that's just as important to kind of come together as a team. So we've got a lot of fun activities that we've been doing, and we're going to continue that throughout the season.
Once live performances start, the remembrance will continue.
There's definitely a huge hole in the band, and this first game is going to be really hard. Emotionally, it's going to be really hard for the band, but we're going to be okay. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great season anyway, and a lot of people are really excited for this season.
In Pittsburgh, Yana Hautala, KOAM News.
Sound good as always. The marching band wishes to see everyone at their first performance of the fall semester at Pitt State's home football game on Thursday, September 1st. Cherokee Nation has a rich history, and to help preserve it, Chautauqua, Kansas has hosted a nap-in every year for the last 3 years. Napping is the art form of shaping stones by hitting them and making stone tools or weapons or even building walls. At the Neosho River Nap-In, participants get to learn the art by making arrowheads.
Well, it's part of my heritage, for one. For two, it's an art that's dying away, and we don't want this to go away. This is amazing, The natives used to do this, and they're a slow dying race, and we're just keeping that alive.
If you're interested in learning napping, you still have a chance to stop by. That event lasts until 6 p.m. on Sunday. A little bit later, a tractor trailer burns on I-44, and lactose intolerant folks might want to look away from what was burned.
And we have some storms on radar up to the north and west, and I'll be back with the complete forecast to let you know how much we can expect here right after this. Well, it was another warm one out there across the 4 states, but that's typical for August. And in fact, we were pretty close to normal. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But let's look outside right now at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort down in Seneca, Missouri. You can see a beautiful evening shaping up there too. Just a few altocumulus clouds and even some cirrus thrown in just for good measure. So a pretty pleasant evening if you're heading out and about. As I mentioned, it's been pretty warm today. And for the month of August, we've had 2 weeks above normal on your temperatures, 4 days below normal, and today we were right at normal. Wasn't that a nice change? Here's another change in our forecast too. We've been watching the southwestern Bay of Campeche down the southern Gulf of Mexico. Looks like we might have Tropical Storm Danielle form later on tonight, but the good news is it looks like Danielle's pretty close to land already and is not going to really have a lot of time to intensify. We are expecting her to come ashore in northern Mexico late Saturday night and early Sunday morning, and all that moisture is going to be fed up into Texas, where they desperately need the rainfall, much like here, but the drought has been worse down across Texas, and it looks like they're going to get quite a bit of precipitation from the remnants of Danielle as well as a frontal system dropping down from the north. So that's pretty good news for them. How about our area? Well, we do have some rain on the radar. It's up to the north and west. Now starting to approach Emporia and also north of Wichita. That may start to clip the northwestern parts of our area later on tonight, and it's a harbinger of things to come in our forecast. Temperatures right now are in the mid-80s across our area, still 90s out to the west in Sedan, where it's currently 91 degrees. And when you look at the dew points, they're in the mid-50s to some places in the mid-60s up in Nevada, where they're 64 and 64 in Lamar. And so as a result, on our dew point scale, it goes from not bad to just around sticky. So it's not too bad. It could be much worse, that's for sure. What is pretty bad right now is the pollen. 8.7 today out of 10, and that's going to be the same tomorrow. Most of that's a ragweed and chenopod. So if you're suffering from allergies, that's why. Currently right now in Joplin, a pretty pleasant evening, just some clouds out there, 87 degrees. And it also feels like 87 because the dew point is currently sitting at 60 degrees. Your future track forecast looks like this. Here's that front up to the north and west, dropping down. It's not going to really do too much, just a few scattered showers along that and lows in the mid-70s later on tonight, and then dropping down into the upper 60s to around 71 by tomorrow morning. But notice another front up to the north and west by tomorrow morning. That's going to move in our direction during the day, and that's when we're going to see more thunderstorms possible across our area with highs in the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees. Then that front's going to move through the area, turn our winds around to the north and bring in some drier air with lows in the mid-60s across the area. And then for Sunday, pretty pleasant. Mostly fair skies with northerly winds and temperatures in the mid-80s across our area. Then as we go into Monday morning, lows pretty pleasant, upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. Your rain forecast, most of the heavier rain is going to be up to the north. A few areas could pick up around half an inch, but most areas are not going to see a lot of precip, especially out to the west. Your 7-day forecast looks like this. The weekend looks pretty good, especially for your Sunday, but then down as we move into the next week, temperatures still not too bad, in the 90s, but we desperately need some rainfall.
Any rain we can get right now would be welcome.
Absolutely.
Sure. Thanks, Sam.
You're welcome.
Apparently no one was hurt, but boy, the cheese is now smoked. A tractor trailer burned on I-44 near the Carthage exit, and the cargo was a total loss. That cargo, 43,000 pounds of cheese. Authorities tell us the driver noticed smoke in his rearview mirror, pulled over, used his extinguisher trying to put out the flames. The driver proceeded to unhook the semi and pull forward to safety. You might like your cheese smoked, maybe even melted. We're guessing probably not like this, burnt to a crisp. Still ahead, the Kansas City Chiefs wrap up training camp in St. Joe, and the Baxter Springs Lion aim to turn things around and put an end to a 25-game losing streak. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
The Baxter Springs High School football team is wrapping up their first week of fall practice. Now, the Lions are aiming to get things headed in the right direction this fall after going 0-9 last season. And Baxter Springs had to play a lot of young guys last year, so they do return quite a few starters this fall. And that includes all conference players in Logan Guess, Lane Fisher, and Jacob Grant. Now those guys, among others, will try to turn this thing around in Baxter Springs. And they already got a head start with a great offseason in the weight room.
Summer weights was a big teller. At the end of last year, we ended with under 10 guys at the end of summer. This year, we ended with 30 plus easily. Everyone now have a new attitude. Coach Buchanan, our strength coach, he's kind of engraved us with a new drive to win, and everyone loves it.
You either get on the bus or leave, and we had a great summer. I think everybody's attitudes changed. I think we'll surprise people this year.
We had a real good summer in the weight room. Good attendance in the weight room, and I think finally they realized that, like I said, they're going to have to work hard if they want to win, and I think they're intent on doing that.
The Kansas City Chiefs will play at home tomorrow afternoon, facing the Washington Commanders in their second preseason game of the year. The Chiefs had their final practice of training camp in St. Joe yesterday. Here's Patrick Mahomes on his takeaways from camp as the team closes in on the regular season.
I think we took a giant step as far as kind of how we do things. I mean, we have the talent. We got the guys that can go out there and make the plays. But like Coach Reed runs a tough training camp. It's just kind of what we've been known for. I think it makes us better for it. And I think guys, as we went on, understood that. And they came out with the mindset they're going to compete every single day. And I think you saw offense have good days, you saw defense have good days, and that's usually a good sign for a good football team.
The Kansas City Royals hit the field tonight for Game 2 of their 4-game series with the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, the Royals' bats have gone cold the last week, scoring just 3 total runs in their last 4 games. Now, tonight, Kansas City tries to get the bats going, snap a 4-game losing streak. That game just getting started in Tampa with no score in the first. Brady Singer's on the mound tonight for the Royals. And the National League, St. Louis Cardinals, a lot more fun to watch. They open a 3-game series with the Diamondbacks tonight, aiming for their 5th straight win and their 16th win in the last 20 games. It's a later start for that one with first pitch scheduled for 8:40. So out tonight. Big night for Missouri high school football as well. It's Jamboree night. We're going to have highlights from Webb City as well as Carl Junction Jamborees right here tonight at 10.
And you're going to be getting out of here shortly.
Right now.
Go cover that. We'll be right back. Take time now to honor a local veteran. John Jackson Jr. served in the U.S. Navy in 2005. His hometown, Chanute, Kansas, and we're proud to salute 2nd Class Petty Officer John Jackson Jr., our 4-state hero. To learn about other heroes from all across the 4 states, we have more than 3,000 of them in our database. Or to submit a hero of your own anytime, it's very simple. You know what to do. You just go to our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. The midterm election still a couple of months away. But new Fox polling is giving us a better look at how some crucial races might turn out. Also, for the first time ever, streaming services drew in more viewers in July than cable television. And another first, one of the world's largest moths might have been spotted here in the U.S. Yeah, watch out. Those stories, a lot more, coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Hey, how about a new 4-legged friend this Friday evening? This bobcat. It was caught on camera earlier this week. He's hanging out at the Shoal Creek Conservation Education Center in Joplin. Bobcats are usually secretive, usually avoid people, making this sighting a rare treat. They usually prefer forests with thick underbrush. According to the Missouri Department of Conservation, bobcats have been spotted in nearly every county in the state. Pretty cool. Yeah, that'd be a thrill to see one of those rare
Hopefully
sights.
we'll spot some rain because we desperately need the rain, and I think we're going to see some, especially tomorrow, 30% chance, better chance down to the south, and then it remains dry through the forecast pretty much. But temperatures at least will be right at normal, maybe slightly above normal as we look at the extended, but Dow doesn't look too bad of a forecast. At least we're not seeing 100 degrees.
We'll take it. See you at 10. Let's make it a great evening.